And I was like, hey man, I had to come down here. I was very excited for Esther. It's an absolute pleasure to stand today to celebrate the launch of A Life Gracefully Reshaped. And I have had the privilege of knowing Esther for quite a while right now. And what has stood out about Esther, if anybody knows Esther, she's soft-spoken. Is she not soft-spoken? Does she look like she can write a book? Does she look patient? Esther anakaanga ni kama anaweza kasirika? Hapana, sindio? So when Esther told me, I was like, I'm sour too. But it reached a point where I could call Esther anytime. I could call Esther in the morning, atashika simu. I could call her in the afternoon, and you know the time difference is like 7 hours or 8 hours right now. So I could call her anytime and she could pick up, and I was like, Esther, unalala sangapi? Unajua mimi usingizi upotea at 3 a.m. So millionaires are built at 4 a.m. between 3 and 4. And whatever Esther does in the morning, she fast prays. Sometimes I can call her and she's texting me, you see, I'm praying. And who doesn't want a praying friend, right? Who doesn't want one? So I've been there through this journey with Esther, through her sleepless nights. Every time we conversed, Esther would ask me about this. She would ask me, what do you think about it? When she started doing the page, where's the page? When she was making the page, the front page, the cover, she asked me, what do you think about the cover? And I am very proud to be part of that. And now we are here looking at the beautiful cover of the book. I remember telling her, to songeshe to the left, to songeshe to the right. But the initiator is Esther. I was just there to tell her to songeshe left, to songeshe right, to work it dark, to work it light. And everybody would be proud to have a friend like that. And Esther has a way of weaving words that reflect perseverance and hard working. Every time you talk to her and you try to interrupt Esther, atanyamaza. Tell me if I'm wrong. Me, I talk. Everybody knows that I talk. My family knows that I talk. But then Esther is soft-spoken. So Esther, she will keep quiet. And then she'll be like, no, you go first. And that's a characteristic of a good writer and a good listener. You cannot write if you're not a good listener. Otherwise, she will just write your things. And another thing I like about Esther, when she was consulting, every time she consults, she comes back and reflects. That's another characteristic of a good writer. And good job on that, Esther. Writing is not easy. It requires discipline, dedication, and unwavering belief in the story that one intends to tell. This story that Esther is telling in this book is just not a fiction. It's not time travel. It's a true story about Esther. It is a true biography about Esther. Esther, you have done an exceptional job. And I have no doubt this book will touch the hearts and the minds of many. Seeing a life gracefully reshaped come to life is no surprise to me. Just like I've told you, I've been there since Esther started it. So I'm not surprised that she finished. From that time she started telling me about the book. It might seem like a shorter time to me, but I know that it's a very long time to Esther, because she's put all her days, her hours, and I'm sure she didn't sleep yesterday. I'm very sure she did not sleep yesterday either, trying to make sure that everything goes well today. And like I said, when we were brainstorming, it was not like during the day or during the afternoon. It was either early at 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. in the morning when we were doing all that. And now we are here celebrating this amazing accomplishment that Esther has done. I had a privilege of previewing parts of this book, and I previewed it before it was thoroughly edited. And I must say, it is a testament of the depths of her creativity and intellect. A Life Gracefully Reshaped is a reflection of Esther's unique voice, deep insights, and above all, her commitment to creating something meaningful. It is a book that will resonate with readers, not just because of its compelling story, but because of the genuine emotions and the experiences that shine through on every page. Every time I flipped a page, I was ready to go to the next one, but then Esther cut me short. Because every time I was ready to go to the next page, I look at my encouragement, like, Esther, what happened next? So if you get into that book, and you start reading it, you're like, wait, why did this happen? And then you jump to the next chapter, and then Esther's putting an encouragement, like Esther's like encouragement side. You know, when somebody's telling me like a story to the ladies, somebody's telling Kalejlo Udaku, right? And then you want them to keep telling it, right? And then when I say, so that's, when I was reading it, every time I get to a good part, then Esther's putting an encouragement, thinking that I'm like, how? How did you get to put this in here, you know? And then at the end of every chapter, there's a reflection, and in those reflections, even though you think that you've done it or you've made it in life, when I reflect, I say, Maki, by the way, Esther, you know, I'm like, I don't want to say what I was thinking. It's about Esther. So I keep reading this book. I just kept reading it through and through. And the other thing I like about this book is when I first opened the book, it says, "A life gracefully reshaped." So you want to just open the book and start reading, or just open the book and see which life that got reshaped. Then I opened it, and Esther speaks so well about her family. I've read a lot of autobiographies and biographies, starting with, I think my first one in high school was Think Big by Ben Carson. I'm sure everybody tried to read the book, and everybody wanted to be a neurosurgeon or a doctor at some point. So when I started reading that book, I was reading it, and then I did not know about Ben Carson's mother until somewhere in the middle. I did not know about Ben Carson's dad until somewhere in the middle. And then every autobiography that I read was kind of flowing that way. But when I opened Esther's book, at the beginning it tells me who Esther is. Esther speaks well of her parents. Esther speaks well of her siblings. And then she comes to her kids. And then this is even the main reason why this book is here. She comes to her kids. And then the way she describes the kids makes me want to describe my kids the same way. It makes me just want to go down and write something. Not just Kenya. So to me, this book is kind of like a Kenya to my family, to my kids. It makes me think back. If I'm thinking negatively, it makes me get a positive thinking and a positive reflection on my family. And I think she did a great job of doing that at the beginning. So atakama unasoma, you already know who Esther is. You're just not reading into the book and you're like, but I want our parents. But I want our brothers, you know? Because every time I see her, I see Queen Esther in her. So I was like, I'm going to talk about Queen Esther. Oh, she already talked about Queen Esther before I did. But then I looked through and I'm like, I'm still going to talk about Queen Esther today. So when you look at Queen Esther, and that is from the middle of the book about page 50, she describes Queen Esther over there. But then when I look at her, I think about T.D. Jakes' book, The Instinct. The Instinct talks about, T.D. Jakes says that the instinct is the power to unleash your inborn drive. Whether you call it following your heart, or a gut feeling, or a hunch, or intuition, something you just know. And that is Esther. Her instinct, she always follows her instinct. And I think that's how she operates. And that's the same as Queen Esther in the Bible. Queen Esther also followed her instincts in the Bible. She was a brave woman. Esther is one of the central figures in the Bible, is renowned for her courage, wisdom, faith. Her story is told in the book of Esther. And then it's a captivating narrative, and it was set during the Persian Empire. So it says how Queen Esther was orphaned, and then she was turned into a queen. So a short story about Queen Esther, as I relate it to our own Esther, Waweru. Queen Esther in the Bible was an orphan who was raised, I think she was raised by a cousin or her uncle, right? Esther. Was it an uncle or a cousin? An uncle? Hey, that's the one in the Bible. Good job. So, Queen Esther's uncle was in trouble. Was Mordecai? No. He was in trouble. But then Esther, Esther came out, did her best, but before she did anything, she went to pray. And that's what Esther does. Every morning, Esther announced, but if you call her in the morning, she'll always go to pray. And that's what Queen Esther did in the Bible. Queen Esther went to pray. And I remember when Mordecai sent a message to Esther, she told Esther that he was going to fast, him and his people. But then Esther also sent the messenger and told the messenger that tell my uncle that I am also going to fast and pray. But in the book of Esther too, it's the only, that whole book, God is not mentioned, but the works of the Lord is mentioned in that book. And we see that in Esther, offering turned into a queen. When you're orphaned, it doesn't mean that you don't have your parents. You can be orphaned with life. And that's what happened to Esther. Esther was orphaned with life situations. But then she turned the story around. And now we're celebrating her. She was a courageous advocate. As much as Esther is soft-spoken, Esther is a courageous advocate. She advocates for women. And that we can see through this. I don't know if many of you can see the Tunza Foundation. That is Esther speaking. She doesn't have to stand up here and scream, but whatever she does, we can see it. And then she was also wise and strategic. Like I said, when I talked to Esther, and I'm getting a little louder, she keeps quiet. And I said, okay, Sema. She's like, no, you go ahead. That's somebody who is wise and strategic. Ananyamaza, anasikia, and grabs what she can, and then she continues with what she was saying. She's also faithful and obedient. Knowing Esther for this long that I've known her, Esther is one of my faithful friends. Now, obedient, by the way, but consider it done. You know, many friends that will comment, Esther will put your stuff first before she does her own stuff. She's also a symbol of deliverance and leadership. We saw that in Queen Esther, and we're seeing it in her. Unona, in the book, when Esther is coming out from all her troubles, still getting strong for her kids, still getting strong for her career, still determined to what she needs to do, to also help other people. We see deliverance in that, and we give you credit for that, Esther. And then the Queen Esther in the Bible, she's a legacy of Purim. Even now, Esther is still celebrated by the Purim people every year, because if were it not for Esther, her child would have not been saved. They would have been lost. So, and now we see Esther. If it's not for Esther, every Trinidad woman right now, we don't know where they would have been, you know? Maybe they would have been drained in the wild, they would have been lost somewhere. But now we see the Trinidad. It's because of Esther's legacy. And then, and the other thing I would say about Esther is faith and resilience in God. And then you're like, no, forget God. I want to nasemanga acha niweke Mungu kwa mfuko, then do what? Nitarudi, si ndio? Mtu akikukosea unasema acha niweke Mungu kwa mfuko, alafu nitachukua. But every time when I'm stressed or I want to do something, Esther ananiambianga, you see, hebu tuombee mambo. I remember when I was planning for the Samburu girls to come and meet Tunzadada girls, because we always wanted them to come to a city, to come and meet other ladies who are going through different problems, and they're also the same age. So it was easy, right? Just bring them to Kisumu, right? So we have a house in Kisumu, I started the house. But then we thought about it, we sat down and we started doing the logistics. Maybe if I have my logistics, I push it to Esther. So you guys know her career. You know her career, right? Besides her career, mnajua mali anatoka, si ndio? So you can never lose your money, si ndio? You guys hear what I'm saying? Yeah. You know Esther's career, sindio? Anashika nini? Mbesha. Alafu manyana to? Doa haiwezi? Hey. And that's why these girls from Samburu are here. I just went to Esther and I was like, Esther, I'm doing this math and the math is not mathing. And then Esther was like, consider it done. And then Esther, me see why consider it done. Just the way she always talks. I was like, I don't think I can trust this woman. So good, this Bugatti. So I would talk to Esther and she would be on the phone or on her papers writing down the stuff that I'm telling her. And then she would text it to me. And she would pin the message on WhatsApp and she'll be like, okay, have you worked on what I texted you? I'm like, what did you text me? She's like, I texted you the plan. I'm like, you texted me what we talked about. She's like, yeah, because we have to work on it. We only have this week. I'm like, Esther, we have 2 months. She's like, no, 2 months is only 60 days. She puts it in 2 days so it can look shorter. And then that is one person that can write a very amazing book, and that's a good character. I also want to commend the team behind the launch, the editors, the publishers, and all those who've contributed to bringing the vision to life. Your efforts reminds us of collaborative spirit of literature where multiple hands come together to craft a masterpiece. So wamefanya kazi nzuri. I still have the old. I still have learning when I editiwa. Who has a new book? Anybody has a copy? Nobody has a copy. I wanted to say we're at the right place. Yeah, so I still have the older version of the book, but it is a great thing to do. And then to everyone here today, I encourage you to pick a copy of the book. Wale wenye wana kitabu, pick a copy of the book, dive into it, and experience the magic for yourself. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. I encourage you to delve in a life gracefully reshaped. Let it inspire you, let it challenge you, and perhaps even transform the way that you see the world. Esther, congratulations on this incredible achievement. I am so proud of you and I can't wait to see how a life gracefully reshaped touches the lives of so many readers. This is just the beginning, and I know that there's much more greatness to come. In conclusion, let us not just celebrate the launch of this book, but also enduring power of literature. May a life gracefully reshaped find its place on the shelves and in the hearts of the readers that are in this room. Thank you.
Let's appreciate Madam Eunice Aya. Pick up a copy of Shema celebration. Look at the way you are clapping for yourself as an empowered woman. An empowered woman is an asset. Wonderful. Real quick, we just want to have a nice breather. We'll have the Samburu team give us a presentation, and then after that we shall have our queen. But before that, I want us to join Kill Jealousy, Kill Envy, and Pride by singing this song to Esther. DJ, embarrass me again. We say God is good. Oh yeah, God is good. Now sing it to me. Congratulations. Sing it. Congratulations. Tumekuja kusema asante. Tumekuja kusema asante. Enjoy yourself a little bit. Enjoy yourself a little bit. We have come to join God to say thank you on your behalf. Tumekuja kusema twasema celebrate Kuzambuki. You can sit, you can stand, just enjoy yourself.